In today's video, I'll be talking about the pattern risk assessment tool and how it applies to all inmates in the Federal Bureau of Prisons right after this. Welcome to the First Step Back channel. I'm Bruce Cameron and founder of the federalprisonauthority.com. We're a consulting firm that provides guidance to attorneys and federal inmates and their families about early release programs and custody, classification, scoring, all kinds of different things. We're going to talk about the pattern risk tool. The pattern risk tool is a risk assessment tool that the Federal Bureau of Prisons uses to codify inmates. This is based mainly on the Risk Needs and Responsivity Program, which is a well-known risk indicator, but the Bureau of Prisons used the Hudson Institute and performed a lot of meta-analysis of criminal justice studies and have come up with 15 points, 15 questions to yield a risk score on someone. And so what I want to do is talk about the first maybe 5 or 6 or 7 points of this. I'll do another video describing the others. So this is it. That's the one. That's the official one, straight from the Bureau of Prisons. Okay, you ready? All right, number one, current age. If the inmate's age is greater than 60, that is a risk score of 0 for that component. Ages 51 to 60 is 7 points. Age 41 to 50, 14 points. Age 30 to 40, 21 points. Age 26 to 29, 28 points. And less than 26 years old is 35 points. So you can tell right there that the person's current age has a lot to do with risk. The next item is Adam Walsh with conviction. That's more for our folks that are charged with sexual offenses or possession of child abuse images, possession of child pornography. Was there an Adam Walsh aspect of that? If the answer is yes, then that's a point there. If it is a crime of violence, such as bank robbery, etc., crime of violence, if it's not, 0 points. If it is, 5 points. Okay, criminal history points. Now, this is something that you just can't score your loved one unless you have their pre-sentence report, okay? With the criminal history points, right, 0 to 1 point, well, I guess you could, but let's see. 0 to 1 criminal history point is a 0. 2 to 3 criminal history points is an 8. 4 to 6 points is 16. 7 to 9 points is 24. 10 to 12 criminal history points is 32. And greater than 12 criminal history points is a score of 40. So that section about prior convictions, that's why a lot of the folks that have been getting out early were first offenders, right? They didn't, or their criminal background was next to nothing, and so that put them at a low risk. They're also over the age of 60, which put them at a low risk. They're nonviolent, low risk. All right, so again, you can see how this is kind of shaping out. Okay, next, item number 5 is history of escapes. No escapes obviously is a 0, but greater than 10 years ago, minor, 2 points. 5 to 20 years ago, minor, 4 points. Less than 5 years ago, minor or serious is 6 points. Obviously, if you escape from an institution, you're going to get points for that. A lot of people have complained to us about, well, they walked away from a halfway house, or he walked away from a juvenile facility at age 17 and it doesn't count. But if it's in the pre-sentence report and the language is there, it's probably going to count. So that's history of escapes. Number 6 is history of violence. Okay, again, history of violent behavior or conduct. Again, the pre-sentence report really dictates that, okay? If there's no history of violent conduct, that's a 0. Greater than 10 years, minor, 1 point. Greater than 15 years, serious, 2 points. 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, 6, and it caps at 7 points for less than 5 years ago, serious. And last, well, education, okay? If the person has completed a GED, they get 2 points. Actually, if they've enrolled in a GED, they get 2-point reduction. If they've completed a high school or GED, they get a 4-point reduction. But the education stops at the high school GED level. okay? And drug program status. This is very interesting. So if you don't have a drug history and there was no need for any type of drug programming and there's nothing in your pre-sentence report that says you were abused alcohol or drugs, you get -9. That's awesome. But if you did have a drug or alcohol history and you complete even non-residential drug abuse treatment program or non-residential drug classes, you can get 3 points knocked off. If you're eligible for the almighty RDAP program, you can get 6 points knocked off, and that's a pretty good deal, particularly if you're nonviolent. You can get the year off your sentence and then 6 months halfway house backed off on that. So we'll stop there. So we went through a little bit more than half of the pattern risk assessment tool. Went through items 1 through 8. Stay tuned, and I'll go through the rest of the pattern risk score that relies heavily on incident reports, FRP programs, and work programs. So we'll talk about that in the next video. So if you have a loved one or you yourself are going to federal prison, please go by federalprisonauthority.com and see our site there. And you can email us at federalprisonauthoritybop@gmail.com, and also come by our Facebook page at First Step Act Federal Prison Reform and see us on our Facebook page as well. And of course, subscribe to this YouTube channel for more riveting and timely information